Right, let's get straight into it. We're looking at the absolute chaos currently facing UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer and, crucially, what a wobbling government over in Westminster actually means for us and for working families right here in Ireland.
Think about this number, 3. It has been 3 whole decades since a governing party in the UK took a hammering this fierce at the local elections. This isn't just a bad weekend at the polls, It's a generational shock. And look, we all know the saying, when Westminster catches a cold, the Irish economy usually starts sneezing. That is exactly why we need to unpack this pressure.
So, Part 1, the crisis and a truly historic beating.
In the wake of this massive defeat, over 30 of Keir Starmer's own MPs are actively kicking up a fuss. They are publicly calling for him to quit, or at least set a strict timetable to leave. And this highlights a massive divide, doesn't it? Because while working families on both sides of the Irish Sea are crying out for a bit of stability and real solutions to the cost of living, these politicians are busy plotting against their own leader.
So, how is the man himself handling all this? Well, Starmer admits it, saying, "This hurts. If we don't get this right, our country will go down a very dark path." He is taking it on the chin, to be fair, but he's also warning his party to cop on. He's essentially telling them they need to focus on the external threats rather than tearing each other apart from the inside.
Which brings us to the next bit, the defiance and this growing internal divide. Despite his warnings, a massive divide has opened up right at the very top of the party. On one hand, you have Starmer digging his heels in, completely defiant, promising to prove the doubters wrong. But then, on the other hand, you have his own deputy, Angela Rayner, issuing a very rare, pointed warning that Labour might literally be on its last chance to change direction. When the top two are sending out entirely different signals like this, you just know things are fiercely tense behind closed doors.
And look, it is not just the heavyweights involved here either. Former Junior Minister Catherine West has given a point-blank ultimatum to the cabinet to oust the Prime Minister. If she isn't happy with his speech today, she's actually threatening to try and trigger a leadership contest herself. Party discipline is just completely broken down.
Right, let's get a reality check. The mechanics of a challenge.
Because talk is cheap, isn't it? Let's look at the actual parliamentary maths here. Under party rules, rebels need exactly 20% of the parliamentary party, which is 81 MPs, to formally back a single unifying candidate just to trigger a challenge. Now, getting 81 politicians to agree on anything is hard enough, but getting them to risk their own careers by backing one rival, that is a massive, massive hurdle.
Furthermore, history is absolutely not on their side. In over 125 years, the Labour Party has never, not once, removed one of its own sitting prime ministers. The precedent for what these frustrated MPs are trying to pull off simply does not exist. Adding a grand bit of irony to the whole mess is the dilemma with Andy Burnham. The Greater Manchester mayor is widely considered a favorite to replace Starmer, but, fair play to him, he is doing his job as mayor. Because he isn't currently a sitting MP in Westminster, he is legally barred from standing in a leadership contest. The biggest threat to the leader is literally stuck outside the building.
Which brings us to the end of today's explainer. With rivals holding their fire, strict party rules firmly in place, and a 125-year history of non-removal, who could actually lead the charge to oust the Prime Minister? But honestly, perhaps the bigger question for us here in Ireland is this. While Westminster is entirely consumed by this internal psychodrama, who is actually steering the ship on trade, the economy, and the crucial issues impacting working families on both sides of the Irish Sea? Have a think on that, and thanks a million for joining me today.